Hello again, friends and fans. Raptor here, and good morning. Today we'll be taking this Amtrak 170 from Newark Liberty International Airport to New York Penn Station. This, of course, is Train Sim World, and this is the Northeast Corridor missions, with this mission being called City Sprinter. We'll be taking our lead over to Track 1 to hop aboard this train and become the engineer here today. And if you like this type of content and would like to see more, again, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button to let me know you really like trains and would like to see it featured more on the channel. In addition to that, make sure you let me know, too, down below in the comments section, would you like to see passenger trains or cargo trains of Great Britain, Germany, or the United States? Just go ahead and let me know. Earlier, I already did some missions here in the Northeast Corridor with some cargo trains, so I'm looking forward to doing some passenger work here in just a moment. All right, we're going to enter this train here and take control. We'll be leaving at about, I think, 7:30, I believe. Not 7, like literally 7 a.m. and 30 seconds, I believe, is the exact time we're departing. But we'll see about that in just a moment. All right, the objective has been complete to sit down. Good, that's a nice initial objective. And we're going to go ahead and open the doors on the right side then. You can do that by pressing tab, or you can interact with anything on the desk or consoles that you want to. There's computers, levers, switches, and everything else. Tons of fun to do that in this game. Not to mention the level of realism where if you open a window, you can actually hear the sounds change inside and out. That's really cool. So anyway, passengers are loading onto the train right now. We should be departing very soon. You can see how long this train is. If we press the 3 key, you can see to the back of the train all the way up the line of how long it is here at Newark Liberty International Airport. Very beautiful indeed. We're going to wait until 7, as I said, 7 a.m. and 30 seconds before we depart. So just a few seconds away from leaving the station. So for those of you who are big train buffs and know all the rules and regulations, go ahead and let me know too down below in the comments section on what the rules are for pulling into and leaving stations in terms of horns and bells. That's one thing that the game doesn't necessarily explain, but I'm very interested in, and I know there's a rule. I think it's bells and whistles when you're rolling into a station. But anyway, speaking of rolling, we are rolling out of this one, heading to Newark Penn, and arriving at 7:05 at the latest. So here we go. Our initial rollout has begun. So we're now leaving the station with, I think, maybe, what does that look like to be, 6 passenger cars, it looks to me. And, of course, our lead locomotive as well, which is beautiful. Absolutely wonderful. I love the style of the American trains with the silver bullet and the electric car like that. Very nice looking. But also European, British, and other trains are available. Of course, this is a DLC available for the main game. So, you know, if there's certain types of areas that interest you more than others, for example, CSX, if you just want to do the cargo, you can always just purchase the heavy cargo or heavy hull I guess, addition to that game. So it's very good because the interiors of these trains are very detailed as well. I really like that. Electric diesel, and also I think there's some trains that run on Dreams, to be honest. I don't know. Some of them are so cool, though. I absolutely love it in this game. So one thing I need practice on, too, by the way, I just got my learner's permit for driving trains in this game, I suppose, is braking. That'll be one thing that I will not do very well on here in today's episode, but every time that I do it, it is practice, and practice will make perfect for later missions. Of course, passenger trains are a little more difficult because, 1, you're moving awfully fast, and 2, you're also braking at a high speed as well. So, you know, you go from 60 or 70 pretty much to 0 in just the length of just before a station. And, of course, with a cargo train, you're pretty much just kind of slow and go at around 30 to 35. So I think, actually, we're going to see a speed reduction up here in just a little bit, too, just before we get to our destination, which is just 1.5 miles away to our next destination. There goes a train driving by. Absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous details inside and out the train, like I said. Just absolutely wonderful. So it's a privilege to be driving this one here today. All right, we're going to pull back on the throttle a little bit here. I think our speed limit here is 70 for now, but we're actually going to see a reduction in speed in just a moment as we're almost to our destination. That was pretty quick. Just a mile away is our next stop, and I think we'll be making a stop at Syracuse as well. So hopefully we can do this and keep on the line. We don't want to go too fast, of course, because we want to stay within our section and not interfere with other trains that are running on the same line. Essentially, spacing is what we're thinking about here today. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and initiate our braking procedures, and we're really going to have to start slowing down here right now. So let's throw her up into minimum application. And as you can see, we're already going over the speed limit, of course, but that is something I am practicing on to get ready for, to become a better train driver or engineer or conductor, or whatever they may be called. I hear they have different names across the world, too. So there's many different terms for train engineers, or, well, I guess in this case, since we're in the engineer's seat, we must be an engineer. So that must be the technical term. All right, we're going to roll in here. That's about about 400 yards away. So we're just going to come in slowly. Guess we don't have to brake that abruptly, but we'll just roll in at 27. Speed limit here is 30, or just over 30, so we should be good here to stop any second. Very beautiful, detailed New York. I looked at a video of this line just to see how realistic it is compared to the real thing, and it is pretty realistic, to be honest. It does the job of simulating this line quite well. We don't want to stop that fast. Ooh, wow, we really stop. Hold on a second, we're just going to kick the power up a little bit. In this game, it's okay to go a little over the objective, but you don't want to stop short. That doesn't count if you're short, but if you're a little too far, it's okay. So, as I mentioned, braking, something I'm working on. And especially with these trains, once you get under like 10 miles an hour, these trains seem to just come to an immediate stop, even if you disengage idle or release brake. Okay, let's go ahead and open the doors. There we are. Unlock doors for the right. Perfect. Well, not too bad. We haven't violated any signal regulations, and everyone seems to be getting off and on the train, so not too bad. So far, so good. And I'm really looking forward to being a better train driver, especially in, like, for example, the German trains, where the German trains seem to be able to speed up pretty much immediately, but have a problem slowing down, and the American trains seem to be the opposite. They seem to take a while to get up to speed, but they seem to almost stop on a dime. So that's why, just like, for example, a used car, when you switch from a used car to a new car, it's almost like getting used to a whole new thing. All right, we'll be making an additional stop at Syracuse to let the Silver Star train pass, so we will definitely do that. So we're going to proceed up to, I think, 35 as we leave. Now, again, I would be ringing the bell and blowing the horn if the game told me to do so, but I'm just not going to because I truly don't know the regulations. So everyone can let me know down below in the comment section and help make me a better train driver here. It's very beautiful to see all the underground like this. All the support beams and whatnot. Going across the bridge now. Let's go ahead and take a look at this from afar. Oh wow, look at that go through there. That's really cool. Oh, we're actually scrunched up against the train. It doesn't let you go and view it from the outside, I see. But there you go. That's the looks to be like a little drawbridge that we just passed over. Okay, so back into the train we go, and we're now speeding, so let's not do that anymore. There we go. And we're only going 1 mile over. That's okay. We'll slow down eventually. Oh, and there comes a plane. Very cool. Must be heading towards the airport. Alright, so we'll be at our next station, Syracuse, at 7:13, and now we need to slow down to 30. So we'll use our master controller braking in order to do that. Essentially, what I believe we're doing here is we're throwing the electric engine into reverse, for lack of any better terminology, and it's working as a resistance on the wheels rather than pushing them forward. But I guess that was just for that section to switch over to this center line. So now we can speed up again. Very good. Man, I really do like this game. Just looking at the train from outside is just amazing. If you've ever been on a train, I think it's almost more enjoyable to look at a train from the outside, unless you're on a Japanese bullet train or something, which I do plan to do in a few months with some friends. I've never been on a high-speed train before. I would consider a high-speed train to be over, like 100 miles an hour over, but the bullet trains are like on their own level. You've got trains, and then you've got like bullet trains, and those are just astounding. Alright, so I noticed up here the signal went from yellow to green, which means there's likely a train in front of us. So there's no urgency to get to our destination. We're not like, we're not in a hurry or anything like that. So we'll just kind of take our time and kind of hang out back here for a little while. But we do need to be there by 7:13. Oh wow, there you go. There's a cargo train to our left on the screen. There's CSX rail cars, box cars, grain cars, and even tankers there. So that was pretty cool to see that. I've seen plenty of cargo trains in my life, but not a lot of passenger trains. And I've only been on a few passenger trains in my life. But I would prefer to take passenger trains pretty much anywhere. If I could take a train over a plane, I definitely would. I mean, especially if they were the same time. You know, if it took the same time to get, you know, somewhere via train as it did plane, I would definitely do that. But unfortunately, they don't. And planes can pass over waters and mountains that trains sometimes have a little trouble doing without help of a bridge or a tunnel. And I haven't seen many tunnels in this game yet, but I do see some from the German side. There are some tunnels on that side. In the S-Bahn, I believe is the name of that. The S2 S-Bahn, which I think is really cool. Alright, this train's going really well so far. And again, we're not in a hurry because if that yellow symbol there changes to a red, we'll have to stop immediately. So I'm just kind of hanging back since there's another train in front of us. Possibly. Alright, we will be stopping in about 2.5 miles as well for our next station. Yeah, this is very realistic from what I've seen on the internet for this route. Or at least it's, of course, it's not a one-to-one, every bush, every building, all in the same place. But it does definitely simulate that. And I appreciate this game for that. Okay. Geez, what a beautiful morning. It's 7:10. And I think the clock is in real time, which means it doesn't follow the same time at which you're at, but it does follow the, you know, second per second. It's not simulated in any other way. The scale is accurate for real time. Some beautiful bridges off over there. Some canals and stuff. What is this, the Netherlands all of a sudden? Although I don't think the Dutch would build these large pillars like this unless there's a bridge ahead, which I'm certain there's not. Oh, there comes a train now. And we're speeding a little bit, so let's go ahead and slow down. 60 mile an hour limit over this bridge. Ooh, that's one thing that I wish would change in the game. That happens sometimes in, for example, Farming Simulator, where if an object comes between the camera and the actual object it's tracking, it kind of freaks out a little bit like that. And there's mods in Farming Sim that stop that from happening, and I think maybe perhaps ATS or Euro Truck does it as well. Maybe not, but it would be nice to be able to see stuff from outside without solid objects like that coming between the train. All this stuff, since you can't actually get out and climb or walk on any of this stuff, it should be just essentially invisible. All this stuff should be like have no hitboxes or anything like that. Like, it's not an object the player should be able to climb on, so I don't know why that would be a thing. Alright, well, we're about ready to stop here, so we do need to slow down quite a bit. And as you can see there, we're dropping from 63 down to probably about 40 here. Oh no, yeah, about 40. Alright, we're just a couple hundred yards away. And overshooting is not as bad as going short, so luckily we should be right on the money here. And we have to arrive at 13. And in this case, we're stopping at just a couple seconds beforehand. Okay, not too bad. Unlock left. Definitely practice will make perfect. I'll have to remember to slow down as we get to these stations. I'm a little distracted by looking at the beautiful scenery, though. I don't think you can blame me, because this game is really nice to look at. I really like looking, by the way, at the sections in stations at the ground like that. You know, like the gravel and stuff that's laid down on the ground at stations. I remember really being amazed by that in the Netherlands, because you can see how big trains are from the gap between either side of the platforms. So, for example, if you look at the platform of our left and right, you can just see how much space is between these trains like that, and how big trains truly are. It's pretty amazing. Alright, we're more than halfway loaded now. I don't see anybody getting on the... Oh, maybe a few people getting on in the back. Quite hard to tell. But it is a... Oh, wow. Random guy spawning out of nowhere there. It is cool, though, that there are game modes where you can take pictures of trains or drive the trains, or just simply be a passenger if you want to ride the route, which I think is really cool, because if you want to watch the train, then that's a really cool thing. Look at that. I think they even have the cafe cars simulated here too, where you can go and grab snacks Very nice. All right, we'll be waiting for 30 more seconds, and then we'll be rolling out. Yeah, everything's nicely detailed here. There's the Syracuse station sign. I think this game is great. Really, I really wish there was more highly detailed simulator games like this. Even everything from piloting an excavator and digging out holes where it just simulates one thing. You know, a dump truck and excavator simulator would be great. Just, you know, hauling dirt and loading things up. That'd be amazing. All right, we're going to go ahead and lock the left doors now. And we're going to go ahead and stop at our next destination, which is New York Penn. So let's go ahead and proceed. Again, we'd be blowing our horn or ringing our bell depending on what the rules are, but I just don't know. I don't think there's an in-game manual either. They did make mention of that at some point in one of the cutscenes, but I didn't quite see anything that says rules for German passenger trains or, you know, British cargo train rules, you know, for signals and stuff like that and what they might look like. I would appreciate that in this game to know, you know, obviously if you're in Germany or the United States, the signals, the function is the same, but their appearance and possibly what they symbolize could be different. So it's important to know the difference, but without being told, I just simply don't know. All right, we need to now arrive at our next destination in about 10 minutes. So we just need to proceed now at a pretty slow speed, about 40 here. It's probably pretty good. 45, I think, is what our max is. And you can see that red line on the HUD to the right side. That's how I'm making that determination. But I believe you can turn all these functions off. If, for example, you don't like the, if you don't like seeing any of the HUD and you want to disable everything, for example, I mean, this is a great simulator, but you can tell it's a game because in the upper right corner there's literally points up there for how well we're doing. But if you wanted to disable all that and only just simply see maybe perhaps the objective or something like that, then you can do that too. So we definitely need to be cautious here. We don't want to go full speed because the signals are telling us that we will have to stop ahead. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, I threw it into max, not brake. Hold on, we need to do a full brake here. We're actually stopping up here. I don't want to fail this mission, so that's why I threw it into e-brake. Obviously wouldn't want to do that on a standard train. But let's just go up to that signal. There we go. We're just going to roll up to that one. I just don't want to fail this mission, so I think maybe we're waiting for a train to pass by. But that's, of course, what you need to be on the lookout for as a engineer, is symbols like that that are red. So I think we're waiting for other trains to come by or something like that. Okay, now it's yellow. Whew! Yeah, failing that would have been bad, but also bad is the e-brake. But we'll get it. What does that sign say? Car accident or injured at work. Claim now. How do I claim? There's no phone number. So clearly there's a train in front of us that's going awfully slow, so we're going to go slow too. But this exactly simulates the types of things you would encounter here on the train line. Alright, so it seems like we're going to the right, and the next signal also tells us to stop. So we're going to be very cautious here. Let's take a look at the back of the train. What button is that? There we are. Oh, you can see all the passengers on board. And we can even climb the length of the train if we want to as well. And by that I mean like we can zoom in and kind of look around the train and go all sorts of different directions. Pretty cool. I must say, I'm very impressed with that. Seems like such an easy and simple thing, but it's very important. Is that the Empire State Building? Right up there. Feels like we should be able to see a few other buildings too. That's not the tallest one, so you should be able to see more than just that. This morning looks very beautiful and very sunny. Everything's kind of yellow tinted and kind of washed out a little bit. I really want to see different times of day. I think there are, I'm not sure, but anybody wants to confirm this down below. I know there's some free modes in the game where you can just freely drive a train and do whatever you kind of want to. Where you just literally just grab train, drive route. But some people will have to confirm that, because I've seen that only for the CSX Heavy Haul, but I haven't seen that for... Well, here's my first tunnel. Cool. What are the rules for tunnels? Do you have to blow your horn or anything here? Wow, I can barely see in front of me. Oh, there's the end of it. Light at the end of the tunnel. I have so much to learn. I'm so excited to learn more about trains and how they work. Typically, I'm playing train tycoon games where you lay out the tracks and try to make profits, but it's a whole different game when you're just one person driving a train. Very cool that way. All right, that signal has now turned to yellow, so I guess through most of this scenario, we've been just too fast, even though we're hitting the maximum speed limit. But I guess on trains, you don't necessarily always have to hit the max. You can just go at any speed, and so long as you get there by a certain time. You're really more determined not by the speed limit, but by the time limit. So however long it takes you to get somewhere, I guess that's up to the driver to know. Okay, we're coming up on the next signal here. This tunnel's eerie. There's no lights. Why are there no lights in this tunnel? You can see all the lights on the walls up there, those white things, unless those are vents, but I would think that's lighting. Maybe it's because it's daytime. Silly Americans. Daytime doesn't affect a tunnel. Oop. Actually putting it on the throttle instead of brake. There we go. Alright, we'll reduce that speed there a little bit. And the next line is clear, so we should be able to proceed at maximum speed, which will be 60. You know, with this being a game, today's objective is to have a good time. This is a simulator game. It is really enjoyable, and that is mission accomplished, I think. Wow, I thought we'd be at the end of the tunnel by now, but it's even longer than we thought. This is a fantastic game. I really enjoy this. It's a good learning opportunity, too, for anybody who's interested in trains and wants to know more about their functionality and what they look like on the inside and how they work. And it's very similar, I mean, not as complex, but very similar to flying a plane, where a lot of the times you'll see in this game crews that haul cargo are actually radioing ahead for permission to actually, move from this location to that location. It's a nice cross, and I keep comparing it to a flight simulator plus a trucking simulator. Obviously, when you're at speed, it's almost like playing ATS or Euro Truck, where you're on a highway, and that's really cool. So it's almost like being on a roadway when you're on the highway, just going out and about, but more like an ATS game, or rather ATC game, air traffic control, when you're doing stuff like this. All right, we got braking to do up here. We're supposed to be going way slower than this. I'll learn it as we learn the route. I don't want to actually stop that fast at all, but that's okay. We're now at our speed limit. You know what would be cool too is a tram game. That would be really fun. And like I mentioned, it's ATC all over the place. It's air traffic control when you're moving into these stations like this. It feels like we've landed now and we're moving along the taxiways to wherever we're supposed to go. Wow. This is Penn Station, huh? Underground like this? Oh, wow, we were way ahead of schedule. 7:21. I'll definitely need some practice then to slow it. I get so excited, I just want to open the throttle, but I'll have to practice to slow things down a little bit and just kind of be an overall better train driver and realize that I have a little bit more time than I think I do in order to stop at these stations and also get to our destinations. You know this train. As soon as you hit like 8 miles an hour, she just comes to a complete stop. Okay, we're almost there. I want to look outside the train more often, but when you're driving, it's way easier to be inside. A lot of the times on the streams, a lot of people want to see the outside of trains and such, but it's near impossible to drive a train or a truck or well, not a plane. A plane's pretty easy. You got lots of time to make your decisions, but trucking and training, not so easy. Objective complete. Do we have to open our doors on the right? I suppose we will. Unlock doors. There we are. Oh, there we go. Okay, and we are at New York Penn Station. Very beautiful. Frame rate is a little lower in here for some reason. There we are. Well, not the... yeah, the frames feel a little lower, but that's okay. I've got quite a beastly computer, so... I've seen a lot of screenshots of this game of people playing on rather low quality, so I think a lot of people who play this game either might not have the best specifications or maybe not the best computer. We now need to wait until 7:25 to proceed to our next destination. Which is strange. Actually, we're waiting 7:25:30 is how long we're waiting. I thought this was the end of the line for us. What's our next objective? Oh, that's it. 7:25:30. Okay, well, we got a couple minutes to hold out here, so let's do a little free explore of the station. Oh wow, actually we're in the free camera right now. I wonder how much of this station they've actually simulated. Doesn't look like any of the above ground. Oh, actually the camera's glitched out. I can't go back down. Maybe we can find a. Oh, there we go. Find an escalator. There we go. We'll take our way back down to the station here. Lots of trains down here. Lots of trains. This is a pretty substantial station, actually. Look at all the platforms down here. That's pretty amazing. That's a lot of people that would move through here. And our train is, what, over there? I think this is our train here with the doors open. Wow. So we're on track 13 right now. And it doesn't look like nothing's really modeled too substantially up here, which is okay. But you can see the ceiling is about right there. Actually, are we through the ceiling now? I think actually the ceiling should be about here, but regardless, it doesn't matter. These trains like this would be impossible. Lines like this would be impossible with steam engines. There would have to be giant vents to suck all of that steam and smoke and everything else out through the ceiling, out through the roof. So without electric trains, we would not be able to see these types of immense lines like that. Wow. Oh, look at that. Lots of people coming. Oh, are these people... These people, I think, got off our train in the back and are now heading upstairs. I'm surprised not to see elevators down here. The ADA, American Disability Act, should require them to have elevators. Unless oh, this is it right here? That would be it right there. Okay. So each one of these blue pillars are elevators for people with disabilities to leave and arrive at the platform. And then, of course, can just easily... I'm assuming... trained staff would help them to get on and then to find a place to rest or sit down, or whatever the requirement is, they have to meet it. And that's the law. That's a good law. All right, we are ready to roll out here in about 2 or 3 seconds and lock right. Are we proceeding? Set the reverser to neutral position and climb down from the train. Oh, we're all done here. Oh, I thought we were going to have to, I guess that would be the duty of the conductor, would be to, or of the engineer, would be to do that. Well, folks, thank you very much for joining me. Thanks for being kind down below in the comments section. I really enjoyed this a lot, and this was a ton of fun. So thank you, everyone, for all your supportive encouragement and helpful hints and stuff like that on how to slow down and identify and stuff. Not too bad. Hey, I didn't fail the mission by passing any of those signals. So to me, as it says there, you've completed the scenario, and that was my goal here today. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. We'll be seeing more passenger services here on the future of the channel. I want to do this one more. I hope you want to see more. I hope you have a great day. I appreciate you being here, and you are all fantastic. Thank you very much. You have yourself a good day, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.